August 21, 1986. Around 9:30 p.m., the village of Nyos in northwestern Cameroon. A loud rumbling sound echoed from the nearby lake. Those who heard it thought it was thunder. It wasn't. Lake Nyos sits in the crater of an extinct volcano. It is a beautiful, deep blue lake surrounded by green hills. Farmers lived on its slopes. Villages dotted the valley below. On August 21, 1,746 of them were alive at sunset. By sunrise, they were dead. Lake Nyos is what geologists call a crater lake. It formed in the volcanic vent of an ancient eruption. And deep below the lake, that volcano was not entirely dead. Magma far beneath the Earth's surface had been leaking carbon dioxide into the lake for centuries. The CO2 dissolved into the deep water under immense pressure. It accumulated. Year after year, decade after decade, the lake became a giant bottle of carbonated water, except this soda was 200 meters deep and held enough gas to kill an entire valley. On that August night, something disturbed the equilibrium. It may have been a landslide, it may have been a small volcanic tremor, it may have been the lake itself reaching its saturation point. The trigger was small. The result was catastrophic. The CO2 erupted from the lake. It didn't bubble gently. The lake exploded. A geyser of water and gas shot over 100 meters into the air. The sound was like a jet engine. The lake surface turned red iron from the deep water, oxidized by contact with air. An estimated 100,000 to 300,000 tons of carbon dioxide burst from the lake. CO2 is heavier than air. The gas did not rise and disperse. It hugged the ground. It flowed down the valley like a river of death. Silent, invisible, odorless, unstoppable. The cloud was 50 meters thick. It displaced all the oxygen. People in the villages had no warning, no smell, no visible threat. They simply felt tired, sat down, fell asleep, and never woke up. The cloud suffocated every living thing in its path. In one village, only 4 people survived. They were the ones who had been standing on higher ground, above the gas layer. The gas cloud was exactly 50 meters thick. If your head was above 50 meters from the valley floor, you lived. If not, you didn't. A survivor described waking up after the cloud passed. She said she tried to stand but kept falling over. When she looked around, everyone was still. Her mother, her father, her brothers, all of them, dead. She was the only one who'd been sleeping on an elevated bed. 1,746 people died that night. 3,500 cattle, goats, and sheep, every bird, every insect. The entire valley was biologically dead. The bodies had not decayed. CO2 prevents decomposition. They looked as if they were merely sleeping. When outsiders finally reached the villages, they found a scene that defied comprehension. People had died mid-stride. A man was found still sitting at his table, as if he had simply paused for a moment. The only damage was to life itself. Scientists who studied the disaster gave it a name, a limnic eruption, also called a lake overturn. It had never been scientifically documented before. This was the first time humanity had witnessed one of Earth's rarest and most terrifying natural phenomena. And then they made a terrifying discovery. Lake Nyos was not unique. Just 100 kilometers away, Lake Manawan had suffered a similar eruption 2 years earlier, killing 37 people. Nobody had connected the events, and there were other crater lakes in Cameroon. How many of them were also ticking time bombs? The solution was both simple and massive in scale. Engineers installed a degassing system, giant pipes that reach down to the bottom of the lake and vent the CO2 harmlessly into the atmosphere. When activated, the pipe shoots a fountain of water and gas 50 meters into the air. It runs continuously. Today, Lake Nyos has 3 degassing columns running 24 hours a day. They remove approximately 20 million cubic meters of CO2 each year. The gas concentration at the bottom of the lake is slowly decreasing. Slowly. The lake is safer than it was in 1986, but it is not safe. Lake Nyos changed our understanding of the planet. It taught us that the Earth can kill in ways we never imagined, not with fire or flood or earthquake, but with something as simple as carbon dioxide, something you cannot see, cannot smell, cannot outrun, something that simply takes the air away.